Anyways, this is great, a great turnout. We weren't expecting this many people. So we're so pleased to have you all here, especially our special guests, which you'll hear from later. And I'd like to just introduce our board of directors that are here: Patty Regier, Bob Penrose, Lionel Sproul. Did I miss somebody? Oh, Sue Alcott. I knew that was one more. All right, so here we are, Brewing Up History, the Hidden Life of the Healing Waters. We will explore the fascinating world of the brine shrimp and the remarkable connection to the healing waters that have made Manitou Beach famous. For those who have attended our previous presentations, you'll know that each Brewing Up History event highlights a unique piece of local history. So our first presentation, the button dress, examined the story behind Flora Short's creation, and that dress is displayed at the back of the room for those of you that are interested in seeing that. Our second presentation, The Doors, featured two significant artifacts: the jailhouse and the bathhouse door from Manitou Beach, each offering a glimpse into the community's past. And before we begin, I'd like to share some news. This year, we were fortunate to receive 3 grants that have allowed us to expand our programming and opportunities for students. So through the Young Canada Works grant, Olivia Tan, who will be doing the presentation, joined us in May and will be with us until the end of August. On June 29th, Mark Federspiel and Alex Lawrence will also join our team and remain with us throughout the summer. This is Olivia's 4th summer with us, and we are very pleased to have her back. She is currently attending the University of Saskatchewan, where she is studying education with a major in art. Olivia has been involved in a wide variety of activities at the Centre, from providing tours for visitors, 444 last year in July and August, and assisting with the implementation of our accessioning process. Her enthusiasm, creativity, and willingness to take on new challenges have made her a valuable member of our team. So I'm looking forward to working with all of our students and providing opportunities for them to develop new skills and gain valuable experience while contributing to our work here. So today we turn our attention beneath the surface of the lake to discover the hidden life of brine shrimp, the tiny creatures that play an important role in the ecosystem of the healing waters. Their story is one of adaptation, survival, and the unique natural environment that has shaped the history and identity of Manitou Beach. So Olivia's presentation is not a long one at all, 5 slides. But we are especially pleased to have people with us who have worked directly with brine shrimp and can contribute their knowledge and experiences to our discussion. And the discussion will be the most interesting, I think. As always, one of the most enjoyable parts of Brewing Up History is the opportunity to share stories, memories, coffee, cake, and conversations. Before we begin, I would also like to thank Debbie Mans and Carol McIntosh for helping out with the coffee, and Jeff Siegfried for generously lending us a sound system for this event. Thanks to Jeff, everyone should be able to hear our speakers clearly. So we'll have a mic that we're going to go around. So if you want to share a story, which we hope you do, that you just kind of raise your hand and we'll come with the mic, and so that everyone can hear you. So enjoy the presentation, and thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this exploration of the hidden life of the healing waters. So, Olivia.
Thank you so much, Paula. Like Paula said, this will be short and sweet, and I hope that many of you who are here who had connections with the shrimp factory can contribute your stories, so just to make this conversation that much more interesting. Perfect. So we have a bit about the brine shrimp. So many of you will probably recognize this comic book over here, found in the back, the magazines promoting the sea monkeys. So the brine shrimp, better known as the sea monkeys, are small crustaceans that live in the salty waters. They get around to be 1 centimeter in length, and in total there are 12 different species of brine shrimp. The ones at Manitou Beach are called Artemida salina. These shrimp were used as tropical fish food, while the eggs were dried and sold as sea monkeys. Now the cool thing about brine shrimp is that they are able to withstand really harsh conditions. The eggs, for example, have this outer protective shell, and they are able to enter a stage of complete metabolic shutdown. They can survive being completely dried out, being frozen, and starved of oxygen. Because of that, that's why they are able to be sold and marketed as sea monkeys, and that's why they are such an easy pet to take care of. So a little timeline. In 1961, the province had already entered a contract with Wardley Products to begin brine shrimp work at Little Manitou Lake. In 1962, August 30th, the Wardley Brine Shrimp Company officially opened at Manitou Beach. In 1964, the ownership changed when the company was taken over by the Continental Brine Shrimp Holdings. In 1971, the plant closed due to the fresh water that was brought into Manitou Lake. With the fresh water came algae that was mixed in with the shrimp, and since they were roughly around the same size, they weren't able to sort the shrimp between the algae. And in 2013, the tourist hotel at Manitou Beach was demolished. So how did the process work? So essentially what happened is that the shrimp were caught on boats. 2 men per boat sharing payment. When the plant first opened, the workers were being paid around 4 cents per pound. The boats had this fine net hoop, which you can kind of see at the back here at the table, that were dragged either side through the water to collect the shrimp. Workers would pull the nets back into the boat and dump shrimp into cans on the boat. There were around 20 cans on each boat. To keep the shrimp alive, they would have to stir them. The shrimp and eggs were docked near the former hotel where they were unloaded and sorted. The shrimp would be put through a screener that sorted weeds and debris from the shrimp. The shrimp then would be placed into the tank that would process them into the packaging system. From there, they were put into a freezer that would later be trucked to New York City. And that's kind of essentially how the shrimp company works. Now, this was just very short, and I hope that some of you in the audience may be able to add on and continue maybe with some of their own stories. Is there anyone who would like to share anything they know?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the continental shrimp,
I'll just stop. We just need the mic
Oh, yeah.
because we can't hear.
Nesting.
so the continental shrimp company, was that owned by Vera DeBeck and her husband? Do you know?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't owned
No.
by the DeBecks. The DeBecks.
Okay.
It wasn't owned by the DeBecks. The DeBecks managed the plant from here, but not in New York. And it was a separate purchasing company that worked for them.
Perfect, thank you.
So who started it? Was it the DeBeck family then? And then they sold it to a corporation or?
No, the DeBeck family never owned it.
No, never did. They worked for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were managed from New York.
And was it the Wardley Shrimp Company that first came, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was through the DeBecks from New York.
Well, he was the manager. And he answered to the people in New York who actually came here several times a summer to inspect it and actually, for instance, I can get going here.
Can you guys hear? No, they can't hear.
I'm Don Clements. Lots of folks here know me. I have a cabin at the beach and lived here, grew up here. Okay, I lived here and grew up here, so my first job, of course, was, well, not my first job. My first job was picking rocks for 80 cents an hour or something. And that's what our pay was at the Wardley Company as well. That minimum wage was 85 cents an hour in those days. I was working down here, and I actually went to school up till grade 10. and then I lived in Saskatoon. But I came here every summer to work, and there was a reason for it. But for my first summer, I was 18 or 19, I believe, and Frank DeBeck said, they bought our house, that tall house that's been renovated. That's where I grew up. But anyway, Frank made me the manager of the shore crew, which is not what I wanted to do because I wanted to go fishing where the money was. Anyway, I did that for one summer, and then I fished the rest of the time. So I've been through the whole process, because when we weren't busy out there, I was in the plant too, and we used to package those shrimp into boxes, which they were frozen, and then they were all shipped to New York for tropical fish food. Some of those boys would stuff, instead of 12 packages per box, they could get up to 24 in them, which they did. But the process is, of course, you catch the shrimp. The fishermen go down and they have those hoop nets, an arm on the boat, which you could sling out, and then the hoop was like this, and the water would come in with the shrimp, and the shrimp would line the back of the net, and then nothing would go through it. So you had to lift that arm up with its full water, and you squeezed it out, and you'd end up with about a 2-pound package of what looked like hamburger, and then throw it into your pail there. And those pails would weigh 100 to 120 pounds. And the variance was maybe the amount of shrimp in there, but a lot of the fishermen would put some gravel and stones in there. It was weighed by that's how you were paid, by weight. So there was a lot of debris. When the shrimp came to the shore, which is where we picked them up and we threw them into those tanks that you see lying on some of those pictures. The shrimp would be put into salt water. So first of all, they were filled with salt water. The shrimp all floated on top. All the debris went to the bottom. You could open the lower spigot, and the stuff on the bottom would come out, and then the salt water would come out, until finally there was shrimp, and then you stopped it. And now you filled the tank back up with fresh water. There was an artesian well up the top of the hill, and they pumped the water down there. You filled them up, and now the shrimp stayed on the bottom. You could stir them up, and the debris would float to the top. And then you took the fresh water out, and now you could take the shrimp, put them in the pails, and take them in to be packaged, where they were packaged and then frozen and then shipped. And they were shipped to New York. Fishing was what you wanted to do, and we spent any time the fishing would wane or the wind was blowing, then sometimes we would all go up on shore and have our lunch and start wrestling and fighting on shore. I remember my partner was Joel Teal, a Rogers person who went on to do better things, but he and Reg Monroe had a wrestling match. And Joel, to his surprise, threw Reg. And he was quite proud of himself. And back to the boat we went, and he said, he was kind of easy to throw because he didn't really know how to trick guys. And I said, yeah, but don't forget you're going to have to do it again tomorrow. Which he did, and Joel still has a chipped tooth as a result. But yeah, so there was a lot of fun. That's what we were doing, and we were making $50 in a day some days, so you couldn't believe it. But all of those people. When I was on the shore, of course, I had to manage the shore, and then there'd be no fishing because it's too windy or something. So there was just myself and Henry Koenig out there, and it was a long day. Henry managed to just pass the time. I don't know what else. There's not much more than that to say. I will say that those nets, that if they ripped, then you had to throw them away because
of course, the water would just go straight through them. But they were very lethal when they're filled with gasoline and thrown onto your boat, which it often happens.